Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. Today we're looking in, I guess you would say this is sort of a hybrid between a thrift store and an antique store maybe. I've been in here before, I think maybe last year or the year before. I'll leave a link to that video down below. But I really like this store because they have a lot of vintage things. Right away, I noticed this dish with a swan on it. I've seen these quite a bit. I love them. I have something really similar, but it has a deer on it. So I don't really need it, but I do really like it. They had this little green section here for St. Patrick's Day, which was cute. They had a troll, which were really popular in the 90s. And I think that this is the Lucky Charms mascot. Looks like him. And then I noticed that they had a blue-green swan in behind, and I actually really, really love that one. I was very tempted to get that. I didn't look and see how much they were, but I do feel like the prices are pretty good in this store compared to a lot of thrift stores I've been in actually, and I would classify this store as being above a thrift store because it's more curated, and it's also, yeah, it's different than a thrift store in my opinion. I loved that brooch with the cat and the moon. It's definitely my style. I can never tell if brooches are vintage or not. They all kind of look the same to me, like they could all be from the 50s. I don't remember ever seeing the souples in the baskets like that, but now I feel like I'm seeing them all the time. I thought that the pie with the lid was really nice too. They have quite a lot of vintage tins in this shop. I know a few of you had mentioned that you collect those. I loved the yellow ones with the flowers. I thought those were really pretty. I don't really have anywhere to put tins, but I did notice that they had a vintage Maxwell House coffee tin. I really liked that. They do have a pretty big selection of salt and pepper shakers, which I love because I feel like I don't see them very often in thrift stores anymore. They had quite a few cute ones here. I think they were $14 each, which is definitely more than they would be in a thrift store, but I've definitely seen them for more than that in antique stores. So I don't know. Those green owls, I actually have a yellow version, but I loved the green ones so much. I was thinking about it. I might ask John if he could get those for me, like for a Christmas gift or something. But they had a lot of cute ones. I thought these ones were cute. They're not my style, but very cute. And I loved this little. Actually, I have those hamburgers for sale in my store, but I loved this little tree with the squirrels hanging from it. I thought that was adorable. These are those red rose tea figurines I'm always talking about. I need to figure out which ones I'm missing and make a list or like a note in my phone because I never know for sure which ones while I'm actually out and seeing them. So definitely need to do that. And then I noticed they had some vintage cigarette tins, which Players is the brand that my dad smoked and my grandpa smoked. And actually, I used to smoke it too for a little while. So it always makes me feel really nostalgic. I mean, as nostalgic as you can get for like cigarettes, but I don't know. It just it reminds me of when I was a kid when they came in the tins. But yeah. I also loved that King Cole coffee tin. They have a lot of Coca-Cola like merchandise here from probably various decades. Like everything in here isn't vintage, but they do have a lot of vintage things. Lots of different canisters. Again, I love Carnival glass so much, but I don't want to start collecting it because I don't need it. But every time I see it, I just think it's so beautiful. But I already have a lot of the things that I see. Like I already have a punch bowl, so don't really need it. I'm not sure if this owl is vintage or not, and I didn't want to try and pick it up one-handed to look at the bottom, but I really, really like this cookie jar. I think it would fit in with my kitchen vibe. I don't know. You guys let me know what you think. And then I looked down and spotted this Miss Piggy, and I actually had this when I was a kid, and it brought back so many memories seeing it. It was from the 80s, I think 1987, and I'm pretty sure that this came from McDonald's, but I'm not entirely sure about that. I think I was trying to look at the tag to see, but I'm pretty sure that's where it came from. I don't know if it was like a Happy Meal toy or you had to buy it separate. It seems kind of big to be a Happy Meal toy, but yeah, I guess I would have been like 7. No, I would have been 5 then. I saw this purse and it reminded me of an 80s style purse. I'm not sure why. I don't know if it's the color or the style, but it reminded me of like a purse that my mom would have had in the 80s. It wasn't, I was trying to look at like the brand, but the light kept reflecting off of it. It wasn't too expensive, but when I opened it up and looked inside, just looking at the tag, it definitely doesn't look vintage to me, but I could be wrong. The store also has a big section with toys and things in it that are vintage, some newer, but I always love looking through. So they had some like Pez dispensers here, and I know those are highly collectible, but I don't really know that much about them. But these little cars from McDonald's with the characters in them, I also had these when I was a kid, and so it brings back a lot of nostalgia seeing them. I think those probably were Happy Meal toys. This guy that had like a hamburger for a head, he was my favorite. I think he might have been, that was Mayor McCheese. I can't really remember, but I always liked him. They have a big section with like movies and stuff, but they also have a lot of TV shows. So I noticed The Dukes of Hazzard right away, the complete series, I think. I don't, I've seen episodes of it before, but I've never really watched it. This guy back here looks really familiar, but I don't know what he's from, but I'm sure that one of you might know, but he looks really familiar. So I put him back, and then I think I saw another one that was, yeah, this guy right here. He also looks really familiar and probably culturally inappropriate. I don't know, but I don't know who he is, but he looks really familiar. Probably like they were older than like the 80s when I was a kid watching cartoons. And then I noticed this other Muppet. I know somebody who had that one as well when I was a kid. And then I noticed this Tweety bird dressed as Robin Hood. I also had this when I was a kid. I'm not sure if this was from McDonald's or not too. I feel like it might have been, but I don't remember. But it was weird to see two of them. I don't know if they were here the last time I was there or not, because it had been so long. But I also remember these Muppets when they all had like hockey gear. I don't know if that was just a Canadian thing, because hockey's really big in Canada, but they just have tons and tons of different toys, a lot of like action figures and stuff. Last time I was here, they had a huge Imperial Walker from Star Wars that I was obsessed with and wanted to get, but I was like, what am I going to do with this? This is from He-Man, I think. This is Battle Cat. I loved He-Man when I was a kid. It was one of my favorite cartoons. It was so popular. And there was another one called Thundercats that was also really good. I noticed this vintage 7-Up ad poster on the door when I was about to kind of leave that corner of the store. And then as I was walking out, I noticed that they had this He-Man action figure, and it's Skeletor. He was my favorite character, even though he was the bad guy. Yeah, just love it. Anyway, I did not get anything on this day. We just went in to look. They have a big video game section too of like retro video games. So John wanted to look at those things, but he didn't buy anything either. So anyway, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again soon.